I said there were links between Keir Starmer's government and this outrage over Gerry Adams. So just to explain what the Gerry Adams outrage actually is, the outrage that's come about today is because of plans to scrap parts of the Tories' 2023 Northern Ireland Troubles Act. This law was passed because the High Court in Northern Ireland made it so the minister that signed the piece of paper necessary as part of Gerry Adams's arrest, apparently it was the wrong minister that signed it. It wasn't the right minister, and that therefore meant that the imprisonment rather, of Gerry Adams wasn't safe. It was no longer safe. So the Tories' 2023 Northern Ireland Troubles Act was passed to ensure that people like Gerry Adams and hundreds of horrible, hateful shites like him wouldn't get their hands on hard-earned taxpayer money. So 400 other IRA suspects detained in the 1970s were barred from claiming compensation too. Last night, Policy Exchange published a damning report from 16 members of the House of Lords, including the former Labour Security Minister Lord West, a former Director of Public Prosecutions, which of course Sir Keir Starmer is one himself. Lord MacDonald is the other one, published this letter report calling for Labour to reconsider its decision to get rid of parts of the 2023 Northern Ireland Act, the Troubles Act, I should say. Now, IRA victims have slammed the move as unacceptable, pointing out that IRA victims haven't received any compensation. How could Gerry Adams possibly get any? Eyebrows have also been raised over the fact that Labour's Attorney General, Lord Hermer, represented Gerry Adams in a damages claim back in 2023. And Guido say, meanwhile, human rights lawyer Starmer still refuses to hold a public inquiry into rape gangs. And it's that's the link. Hermer, I should call him Lord Hermer, has defended representing Gerry Adams in 2023, and he is under pressure to reveal whether he advised the government over the former Sinn Féin president's compensation case. Now, the Attorney General obviously has those links going back to that defence he put together for Mr. Adams in a damages claim, and Labour, in that draft order repealing the Troubles legislation, we need to know whether or not this is linked to Mr. Hermer. Robert Jenrick, who has been doing great work, and by the way, leading the charge as far as the Tories' opposition is concerned, I must say, I had my misgivings about him, a former Remainer, a former Cameroon Conservative, but he's been brilliant. I have to say, get credit where credit's due. And
Darren, do you regret backing Kemi?
I think Kemi has been disappointing. I think I would say that. I think disappointing so far.
I regret backing Kemi.
But she would say it's early days. She would say, well, I was going to say she would say, don't shoot you out just yet, but I don't think she would couch it in those terms. I think she would say, hang on a minute. The night is young. There's a lot of policy to be picked over, and then we'll come back. But I watched that interview on GB News the other day in which, she talked about people being peasants, and I thought, well, they were from peasant communities, the Pakistani communities that came over in the 1970s, but it's just that it just felt like an easy own goal to be like, oh, they're all peasants, because that's all she said. It was basically left at that. Anyway, I don't want to get off onto a different segue, but the move was also brought about by the likes of Hilary Benn, who is the Northern Ireland Secretary, massively anti-Brexit. And he said this underlined the government's absolute commitment to the Human Rights Act, which of course enshrined the ECHR in law under Tony Blair, which goes back to Will's point about it being incredibly relevant that the Tony Blair is responsible for all of Britain's ills. I think we do have a right to know whether or not this Lord Hermer was involved in this decision, because it makes me feel sick, and I think it will make many British people feel sick who remember the sheer terror. You know, Chloe, you know, our
I don't remember. I
uh,
wasn't alive, Darren.
no, I know, but that's what I was about to say, and Connie, of course, obviously as well. Uh, put yourself in the eyes of someone in the 1980s and early 90s, where you are walking around the streets of Birmingham and you don't know if someone's put a bomb in a bin or in a van that's parked up. You don't know whether or not you're going to get blown sky high by some Irish Republican who has
Well,
decided.
Darren, that comment from James is a really good summary right there.
Yes, it is. More than 40 bombs were exploded in London, Birmingham and Manchester. Exactly, this is the point I'm making. And other bombs were found and defused. 29 people were injured from the bombing campaign, thanks to the IRA. So will the Irish government be paying these victims' damage? Exactly, James, you are absolutely correct. The IRA victims have not had any compensation whatsoever. So to hell with it. He can go sing for his bloody supper. He's had enough from the British taxpayer through being a member of Parliament and never sitting his lazy bony arse on the seats of the House of Commons. So sod off. I despise these people. They make me sick to the pit of my stomach. And yeah, I think we have a right to know, Chloe, and that's that's my conclusion on the whole thing.
Look, I am no expert on the IRA and Irish matters in general, but what I really do spot here is a common theme that I'm seeing with the state, with the police, with the judiciary, is that we always seem to be now on the side of criminals rather than the victims. Completely different matter, but same theme. We've just heard in the news over the past couple of days of a Jamaican who raped a woman, but then apparently we're not going to deport him because he claims he's bisexual and that he might be, you know, people might not be nice to him in Jamaica because he's bisexual, so we can't send him back to his country. Grooming gang perpetrators, you know, none of Charlie Peter says that he doesn't know of a single one that has been deported. They all use the ECHR, human rights grounds and whatnot, right to a family life and all of this lot, not to be deported. You had cases where, you know, victims asked for help and they were the ones that got arrested. I know this is a different topic, but it's the same theme that we just keep on seeing, where criminals are given better care than victims. It's just ridiculous.
Mm.
I'll add to that. I agree with everything Chloe said. I didn't know much about the Troubles either until I read possibly the best book I've read over the last decade, which was Say Nothing by Patrick Radden Keith. I'm sure maybe a few people who are watching would have read that as well.
Well, I think actually will people, because on Disney Plus there is a series on that, so I think most people will have been watching that most recently, which is called Say Nothing.
Okay, I actually haven't watched. I haven't watched the show, but I recommend everyone watches the book. But if anyone hasn't seen or read either, it is looking at
watches the book. Yeah,
watches the book. Yeah. How many? You know, blame it on the coronas. But the point is, it is looking at the history of the Troubles through one particular person that was disappeared by the IRA, and where Radden Keefe gets to is it is undoubted that the mastermind of the IRA, and we all know this shit, like it's unbelievable. We all know that Gerry Adams was the mastermind of the IRA throughout the Troubles, and yet he managed to turn himself into a diplomat afterwards. But if you know that he literally directly organised the murders of thousands of United Kingdom citizens, everything Darren said is right. It should make you sick to your stomach that your money is going towards this monster. It should make you absolutely sick. It's awful. It's so awful.
Still watching? Well, I've got a quick ask for you. Recent UK, we're fighting the woke brigade and inspiring young Brits, but we need your help to go bigger. We're hosting a fundraiser and would love you to sign up and share the link on the big day. It's easy, it makes a massive impact, and there are prizes for top fundraisers. Click the Google form in the description to join us. Cheers very much. Let's keep going together.